With the advent of cloud gaming, thanks to Google Stadia, xCloud and GeForceNow, you can play AAA games on your mobile phone. In addition, competitive mobile gaming like PUBG Mobile, Call of Duty Mobile and many others is huge. So ideally, you need a controller that works well with your mobile phone. Today, we're going to be checking out this, the X2 TypeC mobile gaming controller from GameSir. So, let's take a look, fire up, get some gameplay going and put it to the test. Welcome to my channel where I do gaming, tech and lifestyle. Today is very much about tech and gaming as we take a look at, as I say, the X2 TypeC mobile gaming controller from GameSir. Now, traditionally with mobile gaming, you have a controller that's got like a claw like this, or like this, where you put your mobile phone in this. But some companies have adopted the approach of having the mobile phone sit within the controller itself to give you an almost Nintendo Switch aesthetic. The Razer Kishi and the GameSir are two examples of this approach. X2 TypeC describes itself as a plug-and-play, no-hassle mobile gaming controller, the eSport choice. So let's do an unboxing, take a look, and see what we actually get. Let's get to it. Okay, this is the X2 TypeC mobile gaming controller from GameSir there. I've ordered this from Banggood. You can also get it on Amazon. I've left a link in the description below where you can get it from Amazon. But I ordered this from Banggood. So it's travelled a long way, hence it's probably a bit of damaged packaging there. Anyway, let's have a quick look around the box. So it says here, Pro Grip, eSport class thumbstick, one-click screenshot. And then here, plug and play, no hassle, remains minimize latency. So good translation there. Low latency, basically, the eSport choice. Minimize delay wired connection, so obviously wired, you're not using Bluetooth. So the idea is that there's no latency or lag because you're getting a direct connection through the Type-C interface. Plug and play with a max angle, 51 degrees. So the connector can angle. 2 milliamps ultra low power consumption. Micro switch buttons with 3 million strokes per lifespan. Soft rubber grips. Cozy handheld feeling. Supports Android phones with a max length of 173 mils. So straight away, comes in a nice looking case by the looks of things. I'm liking the look of this case. So good travel case, that's good to know, and it's hard as well, so it'll protect the thing. So this is perfect for taking for going away. When you compare it to some other cases that I've used for a mobile controller, say an Xbox controller and a claw, much more smaller, much more compact, great for travel. Let's unzip it. I did hear some rattling earlier on. I was a bit worried about it, but it's the accessories. Let's just open that now. Okay, so it looks like you've got some fun alternative thumb switches there. Both they look like concave ones. Obligatory sticker. Dear customer, thank you, extended warranty, all that kind of thing. And then the instructions here, taking you through everything you need to know. And then here, nicely strapped in here, is the actual thing itself. So there you go. Obviously feels very light, which is what you want, because when you've got your mobile phone in there, it's going to feel a bit heavier. Just take that sticker off there. I'm loving this sort of nice design here. Inset here. Very nice design. It's rubber there, so sort of hopefully presents the phone from sort of slipping too much. So nice little design factor there. But you can say it's a nice design as well when the phone's not even in there. Controllers, they feel quite loose. Not loose, they're small, obviously much smaller than, say, an Xbox controller and things like that, which we'll compare later. And we'll go through all the buttons as well. And then on the back, it's a slightly rubberized grips here, which feel good. And they sort of bulge out slightly as well, if you can see there, which means that they're quite comfortable in the hand. They sit quite nicely in the hand. And then you've got your trigger buttons and then your shoulder buttons at the top. Very low reaction there. It's not much kind of, so that's going to be very sensitive there. If that's what you like. We'll see what it's like in action later. So a USB-C connection there. And there's the main, you see it angles up. If I can try and get that for you. You'll see it angles up. So you can stick the phone in and then bring it down. And then it stretches out. And hopefully holds your phone in place. So for instance, I'm going to be using my Pixel 5, so hopefully that will fit in. We'll put it in later and then you'll see what it's like. So there you go. The GameSir X2 Type-C mobile gaming controller unboxed. Let's rig it up with the phone and see what it's like. So straight away you can see there's a real kind of Nintendo Switch vibe going on there in its sort of design and layout. Very, very similar. You can see what they're going for really. And I quite like that aesthetic approach. It's kind of quite cool. The other thing as well I noticed, and I'll come to it a bit later, is that you might be able to see there, the button layout there is a Switch button layout as opposed to, say, an Xbox button layout in terms of Y at the top, A at the bottom, and X and B there. What you've got here is you've got your X at the top and your Y, and then your A on the side and your B on the bottom. So if you're used to playing as I am on my Stadia controller or my Xbox controller, which has the layout there of the sort of Y at the top, A at the bottom, etc., then it's a little bit annoying that the buttons are laid out in the Nintendo Switch sort of Pro style. Just saying, if you are extensively a PC gamer, an Xbox gamer, or anything like that, or a Stadia player like I am. But not to worry, there is an app that you can download, and in it, it has controls the keyboard layout. So it has the Switch layout, which is the layout that it comes as a standard, or the Xbox style layout, which is the layout I prefer. The only thing is you can't actually change the letters, but you can change the layout, just can't change the letters. So you just have to remember what the layout is. The other thing to note is that the actual joysticks themselves, very small pads. They've got very sort of small pads going on here. You get this extra set of pads here, which you can put on top, and they'll make them a little bit bigger because they seem really small, especially, as I say, when you compare to the pad size, the joystick size there of an Xbox controller. They just feel a lot smaller, but these little add-ons here, put them over the top, should make them feel a bit bigger. And you have the slightly sort of concave version here, and then the slightly convex one. There's not a lot in it. They're very slightly concave convex. Now, I'm used to having the slightly more concave one on my Xbox controller here, and the same on the Stadia controller. And as I say, these make these joysticks slightly wide, and they're very easy to put on, he says. Just fit over the top like that, and straight away that feels it makes it feel slightly taller, but also it feels like slightly more grip and suitable if you've got kind of slightly larger thumbs. And I'll probably do the same on the other side again. We'll go with a slightly concave one because that's what I'm used to on my main controller, and it just fits neatly over the top. And there we are. That feels a lot better already in terms of the joystick and the feel of the joysticks. Trigger buttons here, there's no give. There's no, it's either on or off. It's literally a binary response. There's no travel there. Again, if you look at my Stadia controller, you know, long travel there. And the same with the Xbox, you've got your long travel there on your trigger switches. There's none there. So you might prefer that for a first-person shooter. And again, there's a bit more travel there on the shoulder buttons. You can hear it clicking there. It's nice, sort of quite a nice click. This is the trigger, and this is the shoulder. There we go. In terms of how the phone fits in, it feels nice and tight there. It's always worth making sure that you don't have this at a slight angle when you first put it in, like that. Yeah, make sure that it's in at right there. And there's these sort of slight rubber grips either side, here and here, that sort of keep it in place. And as I say, it feels nice and firm. Doesn't feel it's going to kind of drop out. This is a Pixel 5, so it'll take a wider phone there. And again, it's 173 millimeters all the way across as well in terms of width of the phone and stuff like that. In terms of the D-pad, again, you can hear nice little satisfying click, quite small as well. Then the other buttons here, you've got a screen capture. So that takes a screenshot. So if, for instance, if you're playing on Stadia, for instance, Stadia has its own screenshot button. This is not it. This is just merely the phone taking a screenshot. So that button, the phone takes a screenshot. And then you've got your G and S buttons at the top here. G being the equivalent of this button, and then S being the equivalent of this button here. So those are the equivalent buttons, and again on your Stadia controller, that's your G button and that's the S button there, equivalent there. So that's all kind of normal. And then your sort of home button is the one here. Your home button is the one down there. I do like the aesthetics of it. I'm a bit disappointed that the button configuration is in the Switch manner, but as you can see by the whole overall look, they're going for that kind of Nintendo Switch style there. In terms of gameplay, I extensively play Stadia on it, but of course you can play your Android games. If you've got PUBG Mobile, you can play that. If you've got your Stadia, you can play that. GeForceNow app, you can play those on it. And obviously xCloud as well. You can play the games on that. And that's what it's really aimed at, really. Gaming on the go. And with the advent of cloud gaming, such as Stadia, GeForceNow, xCloud, etc., you can play AAA games. I'm playing here FIFA. This is not the mobile version of FIFA. This is the full-on AAA version of FIFA, console kind of level of FIFA on my phone. And that's the beauty of these things, these controllers. In terms of overall gameplay, it feels smooth, responsive. As I say, if you're used to having more travel in your trigger buttons, then you're going to be disappointed. So for instance, in racing games, if your racing games respond to the kind of level of the trigger push, then you're not going to get that with this. You know, it's either kind of brake or fast. There's no sort of in between, so that's things to bear in mind. But overall, as you say, I've got I'm sort of FIFA on here at the moment, giving that a go to sort of give you an idea what it's like in the gameplay. I'll also have a kind of little look at Destiny and stuff like that. Right, here we are. Okay. Playing at this slight angle is not ideal for me. Yeah, take him down. I see you. Where's he gone? There. So what are my conclusions? For about sort of 60 odd quid, I got it slightly cheaper because it got from Banggood. That compares pretty well with the Razer Kishi, which I plan to do a review of, and is another similar kind of layout controller. But I think it's more favoured towards those that are used to sort of playing with consoles like the Xbox and stuff in terms of the button layout. But as I say, aesthetically, I think it looks really good. I like the fact that it connects with USB-C rather than Bluetooth because I have a USB-C phone. The buttons feel diddy to me. But that's something you can get used to, I think, over time. And there is a lack of response in terms of degrees of response in your shoulder buttons. But if you're playing first-person shooters a lot or games like FIFA and stuff like that, then that's absolutely fine. And it's a real cool little device to have around. And what with the travel case, as I mentioned earlier, it's nice and compact. Ideal sort of companion to take with you on trips and journeys and stuff like that, and especially if you have one of the cloud gaming services and have access to the internet or 5G or whatever it is like that, or Wi-Fi wherever you are, then you also get access to AAA games on the go in great quality. As you can see, I mean, that's, you know, that's what FIFA looks like. The sort of the main screen on FIFA looks like. On Stadia, nice on the Pixel for 5, it looks nice and clear and really cool, and it plays really well. I mean, personally, I don't play a lot, ironically enough, on my mobile phone because I'm an old man and my eyes, I find it difficult to see. But I know loads of people do play things like Stadia and xCloud and stuff on their mobile phones, and they absolutely swear by it. So if that's sort of you, if that's the sort of, you know, if you're one of those sort of gamers, or you play, you know, PUBG Mobile or even Call of Duty Mobile, then this could be a great device for you to have, as I say, in terms of giving you that kind of flexibility and giving you that sort of switch experience. It doesn't feel flimsy. It feels kind of, I wouldn't say super premium, but it doesn't feel cheap. And the little additions of things like the rubber pads here and the little bump, and sort of ergonomic sort of design there, the textured rubber makes it sort of feel sort of grippy in the hands. It's not going to kind of fall out at any times soon. And as I say, the addition of the little thumb caps for the joysticks there, just to make those sort of thumb caps feel a little bit bigger, I think is a really good element as well. As I say, my only real criticism is that they've gone for the actual switch button layout. But as I say, with the app, you can download the app and you can change it to Xbox. I wish I could just change the letters themselves to reflect the Xbox and Stadia kind of layout as well. But overall, I'm really kind of pleased with it. And I think it's slightly better than playing with the claw. So I say, traditionally, I'd sort of play with a controller like this. This is the Power A Mogger, specially designed for mobile gaming. And then it comes with the claw there, and then you can sort of put your phone in there, which is another option. But I just find it a bit kind of cumbersome and slightly sort of heavier to hold, ironically enough. It's not that heavy, but it just feels a bit different. And or if you just have a claw and you add your controller, I think it's okay. But I think I prefer this layout, especially if you're used to playing on Nintendo Switch. I think you prefer this kind of layout and shape as opposed to playing with a standard controller and a claw. If you've got big hands, I think you might struggle with this, and you're probably better off with a controller and claw. But I think aesthetically and design-wise, I think this is a better option generally overall, or this sort of style of controller for the mobile phone in this sort of Joy-Con style, like the Razer Kishi, like this one. I think that's a better option generally. As I say, I will review the Razer Kishi, but for now, I'm pretty impressed with my GameSir X2 with the USB-C connection. Just one thing is, I questioned at the beginning of the unboxing what this here was for. This is another USB-C connection. This is for charging, so you can charge it, you can plug it in while you're playing, so it will charge while you're playing if you happen to be near a charger at the time or your phone needs charging while you're playing. Also, what I was going to test out is whether I could plug in my headphones in there as well. So why don't we just do that now? Okay, so I've plugged the headphones into this bit here with the USB-C. So if you have USB-C headphones, actually these are 3.5 jack with a USB-C connection. But if you have a Pixel phone with a USB-C headphones, I'm just curious whether this is purely a power socket or whether it will double as headphones. Otherwise, you'd need to use the sort of Bluetooth headphones that might come with your phone. So no, the answer there is you can't use the USB-C here for a headphone socket. The sound still comes out of your phone speaker. So if you want to use headphones, you're going to need to use the Bluetooth functionality on your mobile phone if you want to play the game with headphones. Otherwise, the sound just comes out of your phone speaker as normal there. So that's a bit of a design flaw. It'd be good to be able to plug in headphones somewhere in this to play the game, as opposed to relying on the Bluetooth aspect, because not everyone has a Bluetooth set of headphones and things like that. But overall, as I say, generally pretty impressive really. I'm curious to see the difference with the Razer Kishi and all of that, and see what that's like, and compare it with this one. But there you go. I hope you found that useful. I hope you found it interesting. If you did, do me a massive favor. Please click the likes to show your appreciation, because I like it, YouTube likes it, and it helps people like you find content like this. And if you are new here, do me the honor of hitting that subscribe button and toggling that notification bell so you know when I go live with content like this. And I'll see you around very, very soon. Cheers.